everyone. For this Music Talk Tuesday, I am going to be briefly discussing songs that are about heroes or reflect some sense of heroism. Now, I think we all like heroes in more of the sense of filmmaking and of television shows because they are, again, a more visual medium. They can show you the action that is taking place in regards to a hero. They can show you the spectacle surrounding that hero. They can show you the struggles of that hero a lot more in-depthly than I guess a song could, or more in-depth than a song could. But without further ado, I still think it's necessary to discuss these kinds of songs because I think they are still empowering in that sense of giving you an understanding of what heroes are about or what heroes mean. Now, the first song that I'm going to briefly mention is My Hero by Foo Fighters. Now, the interesting thing about this song is it doesn't treat the hero in the first person, like it's not the hero talking about himself or herself. It's more of a song that reflects what the narrator feels about the hero and that hero's actions. For example, in the lyrics it says, "There goes my hero, watch him as he goes." So there's sort of this praise that is given to this hero supposedly throughout the song. It seems to invoke a sense of edginess and a sense of power, and I think that's what makes it sort of a heroic song, and why I think people would associate heroism with this kind of a song. And I think it's only fair to put this song in particular in this category and mention it as one of the better songs because it does have that emotional edginess as well as trying to be very not just powerful but provide a sense of punch and energy. So I think there's a lot of energy when it comes to being a hero, and I think that energy is really expressed within this song and how it addresses it through the instrumental, as well as by suggesting in the lyrics, the importance of the hero by saying to the audience how great the hero is. So without further ado, let me discuss the second song, because that's really all I can say about the Foo Fighters song. It's pretty straightforward. The second song that I wanted to briefly address is Holding Out for a Hero by Jennifer Saunders. And yes, she's the one who plays the fairy godmother in track 2, or at least does the singing portion of the song that the fairy godmother sings. And basically this song is about wanting to have a hero be in the narrator's life, supposedly. She kind of asks herself, where have all the good men gone? Where's a hero? Where's someone that I can look up to? Where is someone that I can aspire to be? Where is the person that will be there for me? That's really what Jennifer Saunders really expresses, and she expresses it with such power and such enthusiasm that I cannot not help enjoying how well she addresses this concept of heroism. Not so much about the hero himself as much as it is of how what kind of a hero she would like to have involved within her life, what kind of a person she's sort of addressing, And I think it sort of addresses heroism in a more fantasy realm, because again, we're dealing with Shrek, and Shrek is basically a fairy tale. So it only makes sense that this kind of a song would come out, and I think there is that sort of fantasy lining element in there. I think, though, the original song, at least of this one, was done by somebody else. However, I really enjoy Jennifer Saunders' performance, and I really do enjoy the energy and the intensity that the song brings. And it's a very passionate song, whereas I feel the Foo Fighters is just more energetic and just a powerhouse. This is more of energetic in the sense of being very emotionally intuitive. Because as she, draws out those really long notes, you can really see how that desire within her really affects her. And so I think it's only fair to put this kind of a song in the list, because it definitely is holding out for a hero. So that's all I think I can really ultimately say about it, though. And despite it being in a film, it's still within an important aspect of the film too. So again, it sort of ties in a little bit, this song, with film. So again, you'll sort of see these parallels too with the second song that I'll be mentioning, which is called Superman by Five for Fighting. Now, this song treats heroism a lot differently than a lot of these songs that I've been mentioning. The two songs that I've mentioned previously really do have this sense of positivity. This song is a little bit more blue. I wouldn't say it's really dark, as it is just very mellow, but in a very sort of sad and depressing kind of way. It treats Superman sort of as this person who has struggles and, who has dreams and hopes and wants to see these things out, but, as it says in the song, it's not easy to be me. And I think a lot of us have this pressure put on us throughout our lives to be this kind of hero figure to people that we come in contact with. And I think that puts a lot of pressure on us as human beings, because we know that heroism is it's an ideal. It's maybe not necessarily a reality, but there can be certain acts of heroism. But with this song in particular, it sort of addresses heroism as this struggle, as this sadness, and I think that has to do a lot with the sort of Superman mythos, again, with having his parents tragically killed, and then not really knowing who he is, and kind of similar with Batman. Batman's parents get killed. They kind of go into a sort of identity crisis. And I think this song sort of reflects that aspect too, of how heroes can come from most unlikely places, but deep down they have a history, and they have things that they have to overcome. They're not just born a hero. They're born as being human in a certain way, or they have a human element within them. Again, you could say, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman probably to a certain extent, because again, he grows up in the human culture. So it does make sense that they would develop a sense of human intellect that absorbs these kinds of emotions that really impact their lives. And you really do see how a lot of heroes within film and within comics, they have a lot of tragedy happen to them. And they don't just save the day. They have things that they ultimately lose and that they sacrifice in order to be the hero. And I think this song really does reflect that in its tone as well as within the lyrics to a certain extent. And sometimes it's hard for a hero to kind of probably keep that straight face and, say everything is okay when maybe it's not. And again, that's something I think that's just very human. I think deep down we all like to think that we are in some way, shape, or form a hero, or someone that accomplishes something or does something to make somebody else feel better. That I think is just a very human element, and it's something that that I think reflects onto heroism, and in turn reflects sort of the depressing aspects of heroism when failure happens, or when discouragement happens, or when there are obstacles. But I think that's really ultimately all I can say about this one. The second to last song is maybe the most indirect hero it's the most indirect song, I think, when it comes to understanding what a hero is. But I think there is this underlying element that it is about this person who, has a really close, intimate relationship with someone. And this song is called Wonderwall by Oasis. And you might be saying that the artist did take inspiration to sort of make this song and have it be a reference to a hero within their childhood or whatnot. But I like to leave this song a little bit more open to people's interpretation, because again, it's not really all that clear. This is, I think, actually the only song I don't think it mentions hero within the song. But the interesting thing with Wonderwall is how it sort of displays this hero as someone like, kind of out of a dream, with its tone. Again, unlike the other songs that have either been fairly powerful or rather mellow and take a more depressing end on what being a hero requires, Wonderwall sort of just chills back and just has this mellow-like dream feeling to it. At least when I listen to it, it sort of feels that way. And it's almost like, you're floating somewhere as you're listening to the song. And I think that's kind of their idea was, the hero's flying somewhere or something like that. But what makes me feel like it's directed towards being a song about heroism is within the lyrics it says, "'Cause maybe you're going to be the one that saves me. And after all, you are my wonder wall." And I think sort of that those lines really reflect on what heroism is, because heroism doesn't have to be you going out and doing crazy beyond belief things that would not happen in real life. And it's not only about the obstacles and trials and tribulations, it's also about just kind of being there for somebody, taking your time to be with that person and maybe even save them once in a while from whatever circumstances they're going through. I think it says something when a hero can be there for somebody else or take their time to be with someone else and put that person at the forefront. And I think that's really a lot of what this idea of heroism is about, and why we've seen all of these kinds of different works that deal with heroes, and how they basically reflect onto this idea of being there for people, being there for their families, being there for the ones that they love and care for. That's really, I think that's really the true heart of a hero. And Wonderwall seems to do this, I think, really well. But I think it's rather interesting that it just approaches itself in a fairly dreamlike state. And again, you could argue whether or not this is really a love song or whatnot, but I think it is dedicated to being this kind of heroistic or hero-oriented song because of the fact that it is saying these things in a way that reflects heroism. So that's why I put it into the list of songs as one being that I enjoy a lot. Now, the last one that I'm going to be addressing also sort of reflects the aspect that I was talking about with how heroism is often portrayed within film and within television. This song is within a film as well, like the previous song that I mentioned, Holding Out for a Hero, that was in Shrek 2. But this song is in Hercules, and it's called Go the Distance. I did not pick that other song because that other song I don't think is as memorable. Zero to Hero, whatever it was called. It was basically like a marketing song throughout the entire thing, especially when you had, the Hercules, shoes and the drinks and all that jazz. Go the Distance, I think, does heroism in a lot more less cheesy and commercialistic fashion. Go the Distance, which the long version, if you want the long version, listen to Michael Bolton's version. However, if you don't like Michael Bolton's version, then listen to the Hercules version where Michael Bolton isn't singing. But basically why I admire this song so much is because I think it not only addresses something I think that's really different from a lot of Disney songs. I think a lot of Disney songs tend to focus on this idea of being yourself, of being happy, being surrounded by people that care about you, and sometimes even the songs focus on trying to, kind of create some comedic spectacle or try to give you a sense of joy and really more entertain the audience rather than reflect exactly onto the plot or characters and so on and so forth. But Hercules' song, Go the Distance, I think is different because, again, it touches in on this aspect of heroism, of this idea of actually going out and trying to see what you are capable of. And instead of saying, yes, you're fine the way you are, it's okay, this song takes the approach of saying, I'm on my way, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make something and I'm going to do something. And I think that's really a true reflection of heroism, when you can, you know, take whatever obstacles you've had and still rise above that and say, you know what, I'm going to be a hero. I'm going to be something greater than what anybody thinks that I could be. You know, it's that whole idea of taking the core of what Disney has been about, which has been about dreams, and putting it in a perspective that reflects onto heroism and to this idea of going out there and doing something and seeing what you are capable of, and putting yourself out there, making yourself vulnerable. And it does this with such energy and such grandeur. You know, you feel like you are going on an adventure, you are going somewhere, and you are going to gain so much from going somewhere and stepping out on your front door. You know, it's that kind of a song that really just gets you into this idea of heroism, which I think often reflects a journey, because a lot of heroes have gone through, again, there's this whole journey cycle that heroes and stories and films go through, and I think this one encapsulates it in such an optimistic and uplifting way, that I find it to be fairly enjoyable and just great to listen to, and it does really reflect, I think, that sense of heroism and this really core aspect of how heroism reflects dreams and going beyond of what you think you're capable of, and realizing that you can accomplish something, you can do something. You're going to keep on going, and you're going to go to that distance mile and to that goal of being what the film later describes as being a true hero. So I think that's really, though, the core of what all of these songs really are about. But ultimately, I think that's really all I can say for this video in particular. I'll be sure to put links below to all of the songs so that you may listen to them for your enjoyment. But if there are any questions, comments, concerns, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you all in the next video, and thank you so much, and I hope you have all a great day, week, month, and year. Goodbye.